What's up, everyone? Today I will be talking about how I think Kawhi Leonard playing in the Clippers Suns series is better for the Suns. And I'm guessing when most of you guys see that, I'm guessing a lot of you guys are thinking that I'm crazy for saying that. But today I will be going over why I think that Kawhi being there is better for the Suns. First, we will talk about just last night's game, recap last night's game. I'll get to some points of last night's game. We saw Chris Paul and Devin Booker, both of them combined 10 of 40 from the field. They combined for only 30 points, but you look at this. Patrick Beverley and Reggie Jackson combined for 31 points last night. And we saw they were playing both way better. Both Reggie Jackson and Patrick Beverley's field goal percentage was better last night. And we saw Paul George scored 27 points. Terrence Mann played well in the third quarter. Zubac had 16 rebounds and 15 points last night. But let's look what this all comes down to. The Suns did that badly last night when Chris Paul and Devin Booker combined 10 of 40 from the field. And the Clippers, Paul George scores 27, Reggie Jackson and Patrick Beverley have 31 points. Zubac has 16 rebounds. And the Clippers only won by 14. Look at that right there. Like, the fact that the Clippers in stats dominated the Suns that much last night, and the Suns only lost by 14, that shows a lot. And we saw that Chris Paul was just returning. Devin Booker was injured, so they were all kind of a little off last night. So, and I think that will have an impact on Game 4. Now we'll get into more of the topic of the video right now. So, we see last night Chris Paul was on the couch for about a week or two. So he came back. He was just out of shape. He was getting back to his regular form. Devin Booker, broke his nose and has not been able to do well with Beverly defending him when he has had the mask on. But we saw Devin Booker in Game 1 scored 40 points with Patrick Beverly playing defense on him. And when he hadn't broken his nose before, he was doing just fine. He was doing great. So I think they're saying that Devin Booker will be able to remove the mask by Game 4, and also by Game 4, Chris Paul will be able to come back, and he'll be able to turn back to his regular form. And also, just every once in a while, teams just have bad games in a series. Everyone acts like whenever the Clippers lose, they lost Game 2, and everyone was like, oh, they're done. And now they win one game, and everyone's like, oh, they're the best team in the league. I don't get how that makes sense. I don't get how you go by, if a team loses a game, you act like, oh, they're terrible. And if a team if they win that game, you're like, oh, they're the best team in the league. That just doesn't make sense to me. Moving to the Clippers side of things, we see Kawhi Leonard has been out for about 2 weeks now. So I think he comes back in Game 4. If he does, he's going to be really out of shape, just like we saw Chris Paul last night. He's not going to be able to do his thing like he was doing before. And we also see Paul George will not be able to score 30 points if Kawhi's playing, because he's going to have to share the ball a little bit with Kawhi Leonard. And I think the reason Paul George has been playing a lot better ever since Kawhi went out is because, in my opinion, his game plan is he's just more of a one-on-one guy. Ever since Kawhi went out, he's not had to share the ball with another superstar. So now that he doesn't have any other superstars with him, he could just get the ball and do his thing like he did in Indiana. Who do you have in Indiana? Roy Hibbert, Lance Stevenson, they were good, but they weren't superstars. So in Indiana, Paul George was able to just get the ball and do his own thing. And what team have we seen him play with a superstar that he has done really well at? I mean, we saw in OKC, he didn't work out with Westbrook, and he hasn't played that well when in playoff games that Kawhi has been playing in also. I mean, he's been good in this year's playoff games when Kawhi was playing, but he wasn't scoring 30 points like he was now. So I think, let's say tomorrow is game 4 of the series. Say Kawhi returns, and Kawhi's going to be very out of shape, so he won't be able to do as much as he was before. Chris Paul's going to be fully back in shape. Devin Booker will probably be healthy again. Paul George will have to share the ball with Kawhi, and I think the Suns win tomorrow if Kawhi is playing. And let's fast forward to Game 5. Say it is Game 5. Suns take a 3-1 lead. And I think it's a good matchup because it'd be fully healthy Kawhi against fully healthy CP3 and Devin Booker. But I think going back to Phoenix with a large crowd, like, that's going to be tough, especially if you're facing a 3-1 deficit. But I mean, I could be wrong if he does return tomorrow and returns and is his full self back. That would be me wrong, but I'm just saying that's what I think will happen if Kawhi Leonard plays tomorrow. So those are my thoughts on why I think Kawhi Leonard returning will be better for the Suns tomorrow.